everyone! So recently someone asked me a really good question under one of my videos. How do you motivate unmotivated students? And honestly, I love that question because it's something every teacher deals with, right? I've had kids come into class with zero energy, slouched in their chairs, clearly not interested. And in those moments you think, okay, what now? And here's the thing. I don't believe you can actually give motivation to someone else. It's not like handing them a pencil or a worksheet. I can't just walk into a classroom, clap my hands and say, be motivated. And suddenly everyone is sitting up straight, full of energy, eager to learn. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Motivation doesn't come from the outside in. It comes from the inside out. What I can do as a teacher is create the conditions where the spark has a chance to appear. But the spark itself, that's theirs. It's personal. And that's actually freeing because it means I don't have to force it. I just have to focus on building the kind of environment where it can grow naturally. So in this video, I'm going to share how I deal with students who just don't feel motivated. I walk you through the 5 things I focus on in my classroom that actually work. Not theory, but real everyday teaching. And by the end, you'll have a clear idea of what you can do to create an environment where motivation grows. Pillar number 1, relationship. Some kids don't work harder because they love English. They work harder because they feel connected to me. That connection can look really simple. They like coming to class. They know I notice them. I listen when they talk, and I care about them as people, not just as students. And honestly, for many kids, especially those who struggle or don't believe in themselves yet, this is everything. When they feel their teacher sees them, not just their mistakes or grades, but their effort, their personality, their sense of humor, it changes the way they show up. And this doesn't happen by accident. I try to build it with small habits. Greeting each student when they walk in. Asking about something outside of class like their football match or their dog. Or showing that I remember the little details about their lives. Sometimes I'll even laugh with them about something silly that happened in class. Those small shared moments make the bond stronger. And here's the truth. I've had students who didn't care about English at all, but they still tried because they didn't want to let me down. And that's not manipulation, it's trust. They're saying, okay, I'll give this a shot because I know you're here for me. That's fine. That's why I see a relationship as the foundation. Without it, the rest is so much harder. But once it's there, you can build everything else. The skills, the confidence, the progress on top of that trust. Pillar number 2, small wins. We sometimes forget how discouraging it feels to always think, I can't do this. Imagine sitting in class and every activity feels just a bit too hard. Of course you'd check out. That's exactly what happens to kids when they don't experience success. Motivation simply disappears. That's why I intentionally design lessons where even the least confident student can succeed at something. And success doesn't have to be big. It might be saying one full sentence correctly, recognizing a word in a game, or answering a question they couldn't answer last week. But here's the really important part. Students don't always notice these wins. They might just rush past them or think, that was nothing. That's where the teacher's role is huge. I see myself as their cheerleader. I have to shine a light on those moments. I'll stop and say, hey, you just used a full sentence. Well done. Or, remember, last week you didn't know that word? Look at you now. Bravo. By celebrating these little victories, I'm showing students that progress is happening, even if it's small. And once they feel that progress, they become more willing to take risks next time. And that risk taking, speaking up even if they're not sure, trying a harder activity, that's where the real learning happens because they feel motivated. Pillar number 3, belonging. Kids are much more motivated when they feel like, this is my group, I belong here. But belonging doesn't just happen automatically. It's something we as teachers have to build very intentionally. For me, that starts with the little things. 1, I make sure every student is greeted when they come in. Always. 2, I notice if someone is sitting quietly in the corner and bring them into the activity. 3, I design group tasks where every child has a role, so even the shy ones can contribute without being overshadows. I also love creating class traditions. For example, maybe we always end with a quick team game, or maybe we have a silly class handshake, or even an inside joke that only our group understands. And those rituals signal, you're part of something special here. And here's the key. When students feel safe in the group, they take more risks with language. They're less afraid of making mistakes because they know their classmates won't laugh at them. And that's when the real learning starts to flow. So belonging isn't just about feeling good. It's a practical foundation for motivation and progress. Pillar number 4, purpose. Kids switch off the moment English feels meaningless. And honestly, I don't blame them. If the lesson feels like, fill in this worksheet because I said so, why should they even care? So my role is to constantly answer the silent question in their heads. Why does this matter to me? And I do that by tying English to real life. For example, we do a cafe project where they actually create menus and role play being customers and waiters. Suddenly, vocabulary like menu, order, or bill isn't abstract, it's alive. Or we watch a short clip or listen to a song they'd actually enjoy outside of school, then use it as a springboard for speaking. Or we make cards for holidays and give them to family members so the English words end up carrying emotion and meaning, not just grammar practice. And when kids realize that English is something they can use to play, to express themselves, to connect, they stop asking, why should I care? The purpose becomes obvious. Pillar number 5, choice. Motivation also grows when students feel like they have some control. And here's the truth. Kids rarely say, excuse me, teacher, can I have more autonomy, please? That's on me to create. It doesn't mean handing over the whole lesson plan, no, but giving them little moments of ownership. In a storytelling activity, I let them choose what happens next in the plot. In group projects, they decide on the design, the name, or the characters. Even in games, I might ask, do you want to start with bingo or memory today? These choices seem tiny, they do, but they shift the dynamic. It's no longer just my lesson they're sitting through, it becomes our lesson. And in some moments, their lesson. And when kids feel that sense of ownership, oh, I helped decide this, they lean in more, they invest. Even students who were checked out at the start suddenly get curious because now they're part of decision making. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to add something really important. These 5 pillars, relationship, small wins, belonging, purpose, and choice, they are powerful. But they're not some kind of miracle formula where suddenly every single lesson is perfect and every child is motivated all the time from now on. Because let's be honest, I only get to see my students for maybe 2 hours a week. That's such a tiny slice of their lives. The rest of the week, they're influenced by their family, by other teachers, by their peers, or even by whatever mood they're in that day. So yes, one week I might see a spark of motivation, and then the next week it might be gone. Maybe something happened at home. Maybe they had a bad day at school. Maybe they just don't feel like it. And that's normal. And here's the thing, that doesn't mean the pillars don't work. It just means motivation is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. So our job as teachers is to keep showing up, keep applying these pillars, and not give up on the kids, even when it feels like 2 steps back. Because the next week, maybe we'll manage 3 steps forward. Because it's not like fixing a broken car when once it's repaired, it just keeps running smoothly. It's more like tending a garden. You keep watering, keep caring, keep showing up, and over time, those small efforts add up to something much bigger. So now, to bring this all together, no, we cannot just make kids motivated, but we can shape the classroom environment so motivation has space to grow. And for me, that comes down to 5 pillars: relationship, small wins, belonging, purpose, and choice. And remember what I said, this isn't a quick fix. Keep showing up, keep tending to those pillars, and over time, you'll see the difference. I'd actually love to hear from you. What do you do to keep your students engaged, especially on those tough days? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, because I think we can all learn a lot from each other's experiences. And thanks so much for spending this time with me. If this was helpful, you might want to check out some of my other videos on routines and classroom management. I'll link them down below. And of course, if you'd like to follow along for more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Happy teaching!